and welcome to Online Insights. I'm here with Joey Boucher, and we're here to talk about a concert that everyone has been asking for, and that's our Beatles concert. Now, first, Joey, can you please tell us what is your title and what do you do with the Portland Symphony?
I am the concert manager for the Portland Symphony Orchestra, and I handle all of the technical and production details. And the reason I'm here to talk about this Beatles concert is because I'm also the staff Beatles fan. And I'm ready to answer any questions you might have about why this is the most important concert we'll be doing this season.
So Joey, what is unique about hearing Beatles music being performed live?
Well, there are very few people who can actually say that they saw the Beatles perform in concert. The Beatles stopped performing. They performed their last concert in 1966 and then famously went into the studio and emerged about a year later with the seminal album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And they found that they were creating music that was much more complex than the original four-piece guitars, bass, and drums format. Because of their producer, George Martin, who was a classical arranger, they started bringing in more and more exotic sounds into the studio, particularly classical instruments, and they found that they were writing songs that they couldn't recreate on stage. So the Beatles got into the studio and started creating music that was really meant for the listener, and the production of the day, live concert production of the day, just couldn't have allowed audiences to hear what they were making in the studio. The beauty of modern production now is that we can have a full symphony orchestra, you can have a band on stage, everything can be amplified and balanced and mixed so that you hear the full flower of what they were writing.
So Joey, can you tell us what you thought about the Classical Mystery Tour the last time that they came?
Obviously, as a big Beatles fan, I was so excited when I saw that it was on the schedule. When I knew that they were coming, I wasn't entirely sure what to expect because I'd seen a lot of Beatles tribute shows. But hearing a Beatles tribute band playing with the full orchestra behind them, hearing the George Martin arrangements, hearing them the way that you heard on the album, the only people who have ever gotten a chance to hear that music in that way were the Beatles themselves and the players who were in the studio with them.
That's great. And the Classical Mystery Tour, they actually set up this concert in a pretty specific way. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the show opens with the players as they arrived in America in 1964. Also know this is the 50th anniversary of the Beatles coming to the American shores and playing on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1964. So it opens, the first part of the concert opens with the band in the black suits and the thin ties and the mop tops, and then evolves into the beginnings of psychedelia and the Sgt. Pepper uniforms, and that's where the orchestral arrangements really start to take front and center stage, and then evolves towards the Beatles as they were starting to dissolve, Let It Be and Abbey Road, and then coming to their conclusion with like side 2 of Abbey Road, which is just, in rock and roll terms, it is an orchestral suite.
And when you say orchestral, did one of the singers, the band members, go and hear an orchestra, or did they just hear someone else do it? Were they the first to do something like this?
Rock and roll groups had been incorporating classical music in some ways. Motown always did it. But the Beatles, as songwriters, were just eternally curious. Paul McCartney came into the studio one day after having heard a broadcast of the London Symphony, and he says, I heard this trumpet, it was just really high, this great sound. And George Martin, their producer, said, oh, yeah, it was a Bach trumpet. And Paul said, oh, we should use it on something. And George said, absolutely not, there's no way to do it. The end result is Penny Lane.
There you have it, from Joey Boucher, our resident Beatles fan. Last time that we had this concert, tickets went very quickly, so I encourage you to go to our website and get tickets right now, and we hope to see you there.